So this video is going to walk us through how to do the Revolve feature for 9C in 5.7, the traffic cone. The Revolve feature takes a little bit more work on the dimensioning side because we have some parallel lines at an interesting angle that we've got to get this profile set up. And because of this reason, I wouldn't recommend doing it. I would watch the other video for the extrude. You can get it done in a little bit quicker time, I feel like. Just a 12-inch circle extruded up on a 9-degree taper. This is going to be a little bit kind of more with the drawing stuff. So let's get started. The rectangle that we're going to make is going to be 28 inches tall, minus 1 inch for the bottom, 1/4 inch thick, and then on an 81-degree angle. So I think my sketch already started on the XY plane, which you can see down here. I'm on the XY plane. And, if you're going to do this one, you can do this kind of randomly angled taper here. And I'm going to put some dimensions from here to the outside corner, make that 6 inches. And I'm going to hit escape and just kind of drag this up and out a little bit. My dimension to the top corner is going to be 27 inches. And I need a construction line in the center. Actually, I'm going to make this a center line in the center. Use the horizontal constraint to make the top point of this horizontal from the top point there. The bottom corner horizontal from the bottom point. And the thickness of this is 0.25. Now, the only thing I don't have, the one dimension that I still need, is the dimension from here to here, and that needs to be 9 degrees. So the part I don't like about this is this top part. You don't really have a flat line coming across. And as you'll see, if I try to make a flat line coming across, it's going to be a little bit hard to do because if I use the extend tool to extend this out, I can come back in. But as soon as I start deleting and trimming this stuff, then sometimes I run into problems. And you see down here, now this line doesn't know kind of what it needs to be set up to be. So I'm going to just make it horizontal. And that actually worked out a lot easier than I expected. When I went to do this with a student before, it didn't work so well. But drawing the line, extending it to it, deleting that part in the center and trimming it, let's go back and show that again. So I clicked on this line, deleted it, X is the trim tool, and I trimmed off that part. This last part down here at the bottom,
chairs and tables. Again, all orchestra members are asked to report to Stephen's gym at this time to help clean up.
Thanks, orchestra. This bottom part here is going to be a horizontal constraint. We just pop that back in so it's horizontal, and that actually looks a lot easier than I expected. Again, that rectangle tool that I started with was this 3-point rectangle. And, it does take a little bit of constraints, and I went through that kind of fast, but you can rewind and watch all the parts you need.
Please report by the auditorium at this time to help clean up.
And then, because I use the center line, it automatically selected everything. My profile would be this solid part on the outside, and the axis is this part on the inside. And so there's my traffic cone. Again, from here, I'm going to start a sketch on the bottom, use my 2-point center rectangle, go 14 by 14, and notice how I still start with the top, because when I project the geometry of the bottom here, this is not a nice even number. Okay, 11.49 is kind of a weird number, but this outside dimension of this circle is 12. And that's what's important. This inside dimension, they don't give it to us, and so you can't really assume what it's going to be. And so you need to it helps to have that part drawn first before we come to do this part. And again, using the project geometry on this outside edge before I finish sketch and go to extrude, well, let me extrude this bottom part, just that solid part, 1 inch. Again, material, start typing in rubber, and it pops up. If you want to go to the color selector, grab the outside and set it to be a bright orange color. You can hit the plus sign and do that. If you hold shift, you can actually do multiple sides at the same time. And then you can see now I've got the outside and the inside. And if I click very carefully, it's not going to let me do the top. It's going to do everything if I do the top. So inside and outside you can do if you do the top. Looks like it wants to do everything at that point. So there's some orange, traffic cone, rubber. Again, like I said at the end of the other video, the reason we use rubber is because the density is approximately what we need. It's very close. If the density you calculated needs to be a little bit more dense, you don't have to change the entire material, but you could add some material at the base that's more dense. You don't need to change the entire material of everything, and you can talk about that in your answer. Again, people need to carry traffic cones, so you don't want to make traffic cones too heavy by changing the entire material. And if somebody hits a traffic cone, you don't want it to damage the vehicle that hit it or to go flying and hurt somebody around it. Like if you were to make the entire cone out of metal, that, one would be very heavy and two could injure people and damage vehicles if the cone were to be hit. So some things to think about as we're being realistic about choosing our answers and answering our questions. If you have questions on the questions or this video, please don't hesitate to ask. Thanks for watching.